Hello, and welcome to Fleet Action Report, Episode 45. It's all about phasers. I'm Nikodas,
I'm Grebog.
and we don't have any guests with us today.
They don't like us. They some of them like even shipped out to halfway around the world to get away from us.
And other games. Some went to a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. So
For anyone interested, on my screen, below my little purple ship, you're gonna see what some people have dubbed the Pancake. That's the Universe class down there. I know there's a lot of people that are planning on getting this with the year-long event and the special reward pack. It is one of the largest ships in the game, but there's a really good view right there of the Universe class. This one is dubbed the USS Columbia.
I'm planning on getting a different ship.
I'm actually thinking I'm going to get the Lobie. I'm going to get the 1500 Lobie and wait for a Lobie sale and try to buy 3 ships with that. That's my plan right now anyway. I mean, it'd be fun to have a Universe class. I'm not going to deny that. But, yeah, is what it is.
And then we also have 2 of the Kelvin, the other big ships here. There's 2 of them, one on top of the other.
Yep, Black Ops and Vengeance. There's also a Romulan Scimitar class flying around. This is like the day of big ships.
The day of the big ships.
Those are all pretty sizable vessels. And then me and my little escort here.
Hey, I've been having... Okay, what have you been up to in this past week? Here, we'll continue moving forward besides the ships around us.
Yeah. Good plan. I've been working a lot on STO. I've been really trying to build up my Delta recruit and get the ship decked out into a more playable form. But outside of that, it's mainly been real life stuff, and I won't bore our viewers with that. What about you? Oh, and D&D. Yeah, I should mention the D&D stuff. Although nobody died, but yeah, go ahead.
No one died, and you even added a person. Like, you know.
We did.
But let's see, what have I done? I've been reading more books, some third-party, some WotC books for D&D. I continue watching weird sort of history type shows about things on TV because weird history kind of stuff fascinates me. But then also it ends up turning into fodder for me to use in the D&D campaigns. I've also been working on various captains, trying to get ready for the show a little bit, doing some research, seeing where I was on what characters for today's build and stuff. Unfortunately, I do have one captain I was specifically setting up as a phaser captain. I have really been enjoying flying that captain's ship. So,
What ship would that be?
It is the Defiant, but it's the legendary one, which is the pilot version of that ship. So what that means is you can like double tap a direction and do a use some special jets to boost yourself that way. I have been using it a lot to, when I was doing strafing runs, I'd just do a double tap straight forward. Once I was too close to shoot out the other side, and then I'd spin and come back. Because the escort I use cannons on, so you kind of have to keep the target in front of you. But yeah, it's been fun, and also I have been using sometimes when a ship blows up next to me, use a barrel roll one direction or another to get away from it, so I don't die. But yeah.
So you don't die.
Well, when warp cores breach, that damage is quite massive, and escorts don't have the shields and hull to take a point blank hull breach next to them.
Well, that is true. That's very, very true.
Now, I also don't have all of the best gear on that ship yet, so I mean, it could be a little bit of that as well.
We're going to get into that here in a little bit, though.
Yes. And that was
let's
one of the reasons why I was working on that captain, because it was getting me thinking on what I needed, what we needed, what would help you viewers to also have said ships and get going, for a new ship, get a phaser build rolling.
Which is actually the meta right now. But like I said, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's segue here real quick into the weekend STO. The big news is they announced a new TFO. It's called Remain Klingon. They did not give a release date, but in the press release, they also mentioned a new episode that is not in the game yet. So my personal assumption is that the next event after the Tholian Trouble will involve this new TFO and will probably be the third event in the year-long event that they're doing.
Well, I was
just my guess, though.
So let's go into the event campaign just a little bit. I mean, it's kind of also this week in STO. So we have 3 more unannounced events. I'm going to guess one of them's going to be the summer event, and one of them's going to be Q's Winter Wonderland, which leaves us with a third event plus minor events, here and there.
I don't know that I agree with that. Last year, Q's event was not part of the year-long event.
Okay.
And I don't honestly remember if the summer event was or not.
I think the summer event was. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I would guess a crystalline entity event will be in here. They tend to toss those in.
Well, that's true. But if I'm pretty convinced that if they're announcing a new TFO, it'll be part of it.
Well, yeah, that was my first thought. It's at the very least they will do a minor event, and what I mean is like a 2-week event type thing that won't kind of go towards the progress. But my guess is they're going to do much like Synth Wave when they first brought that out, made it a because I'm pretty sure last year Synth Wave was part of the big event. Correct?
I believe it was, yes.
And Synth Wave was a completely, new TFO. So
that's also true.
I would imagine that will likely be true. It probably be the next big event. So I guess if we go by that, the Tholian event, which is Tholian Trouble, is going on now. It goes until May 25th. You have to get 14 completions to get your final reward, which, if you're doing a Tetrion build, which many people will do a Tetrion build eventually, or on a secondary captain or something like that, I would highly recommend unlocking the console because it is got a fair amount of Tetrion damage on it, and it's got physical damage, so that could come in handy for a nice Chemocyte Tetrion build. We'll get into some of the other stuff, yeah. But since this ends May 25th, maybe the new TFO will be in an event that starts on May 26th.
Which they haven't announced yet, which it's kind of coming down to the wire. We may get an announcement tomorrow.
Tomorrow and Tuesday and Thursday seem to be 2 days they love to make announcements on.
That's true.
So,
we also have it ended today. There was a 20% ship sale and an upgrade weekend, both of which ended today. They run those multiple times throughout the year. Usually, it is over the course of a weekend, ending on Monday. So keep an eye out for those in the future. But yeah. Well, and they've done a lot with TFOs. I just wanted to pitch that out there before we forgot about it. But going back to Tholian Trouble, They have done a lot with TFOs this year. They've revamped some. They've introduced new ones. They've reintroduced old ones, like Synthwave came back. For Tholian Trouble, they revamped the Vault Ensnared and Azure Nebula Rescue, both of which are vastly improved over their earlier counterparts. 14 Days of Progress to get the Tholian Web away. I can't even talk today. Array. Like Grebog was talking about, that is a Tetrion boost, and we'll probably highlight that when we do our Tetrion episode. But this one's Phaser. Are you ready to hit our primary target, Grebog?
We have one other thing. If you look at the overview, there is a upcoming event coming. It's Bonus Marks Weekend coming up. So it says it starts on the 20th and will end on the 24th. So if you need marks, this will be the time to farm them. It works great because it overlaps with the Tholian Trouble. Tholian Trouble already gives you a fair amount of marks from either of the two TFOs. So this is a great way to like increase the marks even further. So definitely, if you're needing marks, now's the time to be like farming them. So
marks, all the marks. I need marks on my Delta, so that's great news for me. I can finish getting those reps to tier 6.
I need marks on all my captains, except for maybe this guy so much. But yeah.
Well, Katis is maxed out on the reps and has pretty much all the gear he'll need, but I can always use fleet marks.
The only thing...
Help get those fleet projects done.
Yeah, I was like, I only think there's a few that I need certain aspects. Like here, people are seeing me complete a claim account-wide Lucari Restoration Initiative Reputation discount for gear. I just need to make sure I have all the gear discounts completed on this guy, and that's, I think, where I'm at. I kind of slacked off.
Very helpful.
I was like, I kind of slacked off once I got all of the reputations to tier 6, because farming that many marks, I was like, I need a brick, and my other captains need marks, so
I get that.
Anyway, I think that's everything for this week. Definitely, yeah, marks, and now our primary target.
Okay, so equipment for phaser builds. We've got this broken up on how to get the equipment, and we're going to start with the easiest method in game to get equipment, and that is through playing episodes, or in some cases, replaying episodes. So, the very first thing I have down is a tactical console, counter command multi-conduit energy relay. Now, this boosts different energy types across the board. I believe it's photon, radiation, and then phaser and disruptor. But if you need something to fill a tactical spot, this is a really easy one to get. You just run surface tension out of the Solanea Dyson sphere choice of missions, and boom, there you go.
I think we're being stopped by Corsair.
Ooh, hi Corsair.
I see him floating above me. That's why I said that.
Oh, is he actually in here? He found us. Oh, speaking of which.
We're so hiding.
I did not invite you. There we go. It's kind of strange that we ended up in the same instance, even though we weren't teamed.
I think if the instance has room, and if you're in the same fleet, it prefers to stick you fleets and friends into the same instances together.
I'll agree with that. It tries. It's best if you're in a party, but it tries. Yeah. Over in the Future Proof story arc, you can run the mission Sunrise. This one gives you the quantum phase equipment. This is a quantum phase torpedo, quantum phase converter universal console, quantum phase beam array, and quantum phase dual heavy cannons. You only need one of those. You can use both, but you only need one, either the beam array or the dual heavies. A two-piece set grants accuracy and increases the quantum weapon procs. The three-piece grants you a large phaser lance attack. So if you're doing phaser and you want an extra weapon to use, you can get that three-piece set. In New Frontiers arc, you run the mission Future Proof. I cannot talk today. This gets you the Trilithium-Enhanced set bonuses. Like everything else, there is a console. That's the Engineering Reinforced Armaments. You can also get the Trilithium-Enhanced Phaser Turret, Omni-Directional Phaser Beam Array, or the Trilithium Tricobalt Torpedo Launcher. Again, the two phaser weapons, it's an either or. You can either use the Omni or the Phaser Turret. You don't need both, although you can have them. The two-piece set grants you a fire cycling haste, but no direct phaser damage. Again, in the New Frontiers arc, if you run Scylla and Charybdis, this is the Bajor defense set. This is a covariant shield array, deflector array, or hyper impulse engines. Now, this is a great set to use while you're building your reputations and trying to get the equipment that is the meta, which we'll cover here in a minute. The two-piece bonus here grants direct phaser damage. It actually grants phaser, disruptor, or plasma. So it's good for all three of those builds, but we're covering phaser today, so this is a direct phaser damage increase just for using two of those three items. Still in New Frontiers, the mission Beyond the Nexus will give you the Engineering Console Reinforced Armaments, and I actually use this one, so I can show this here. Reinforced Armaments. So this is an Engineering Console. Gives you a power transfer rate, a hull restoration, and a hull capacity. And the two-piece bonus, let's see, is a... Oh, I did the wrong one, didn't I? I went back up to the Trilithium. So this is the one that does the Trilithium. It's a fire cycling haste. Let me find the right console here.
Well, the Reinforced Armaments does the Trilithium-laced weaponry set.
Yeah, I have it listed on our notes twice, and I didn't see that. That was an oops on my part. Sorry, guys. But anyway, there you go. And then the last one I have here is in the New Frontiers arc, the mission of Signs and Portents. This gives you the Tactical Console Phaser Relay. This is a console that stacks. You put it down here in your tactical consoles. You can have as many as you have tactical spots. They just do a direct phaser damage increase. And it's another one that's really great to use while you're working on getting access to some fleet consoles, or if you're not in a fleet, it's a really good one to use. This is the only mission that offers these phaser relays. So if you need them, you can run that for them. There is another way to get them, and we'll cover that here in just a minute. And I'm going to take a minute here, Grebog, and I'm going to let you cover the reputation part.
All right, reputations. The big thing here is to go for, in Discovery, you're going to want to have that. There are three different things, well, at different levels that you can get for in the Discovery set. You can look at, if you're trying to figure out what you unlock at what place, you can look in here. If you just have to toggle tier 3, tier 4, you can look at all the stuff it unlocks. But since I have it all unlocked already, it'll all just show up in a nice big list here of the stuff I can make. Now, they do change the colors. You'll notice here you have the yellow or gold. That is for personal equipment. Space equipment they have in this greenish.
We recently received a distress signal from the USS Forrestal, a ship we
tier
thought was
1 you
lost
can get
in
the Dark
Nexus
Matter
back in
Quantum
2332.
Torpedo.
We sent the USS Madison out to investigate.
And what are you doing out there? But so here is the weapon. They color code the weapons in the reds, so that way you can notice it stands out more. Also, the tactical consoles are in red. If you haven't noticed that about the color coding in the reputations, it helps when you're looking for specific stuff. I honestly don't use many of these
With the war over, it's time for us
weapons
to rebuild.
From here, though they do have, if you're looking for these are decent weapons to start with at the very least, and if you like a dual heavy beam banks, this is definitely a place to pick them up. These are the wide angle, which allows you to have a wider firing arc than just the standard firing arc for a dual heavy beam bank. And here is that the quantum torpedo. There is a set bonus, the 2-piece, when you get one of the beams and one of the torpedo, you get in more critical severity. If you go for the 3-piece, which includes getting Lorca's console, which actually I highly recommend. You need to be tier 4 of the reputation, but the console at the very least on its own is definitely worth it for the crit chance that it gives you, the boost the power setting, and then also it gives you a lot of shield penetration. So it's definitely a nice boost to your overall damage. And it's not, once you get to tier 4, it's not hard to pick up. Now, for competitive, the meta for competitive, you need to get to tier 3. And then in tier 3, there is the, let me scroll all the way down here. I thought we had, oh yeah, I guess I'll have to go back up to Discovery. But in tier 3, you want to get the engines. I have them on my ship, so I'm just going to show them there. But the tier 3 engines, it's the impulse engine. You're looking for the innervated impulse engines prevailing there. Very nice engine set, or engine to use. You don't really need 2 pieces for the set, but it is nice to have. I use also the prevailing innervated shields that come for the set. But yeah, this impulse engine is the go-to. What I skipped in the Discovery is in tier 3 or tier 4, you have the antimatter core. It is one of the better cores to pick up if you don't have a fleet that you can buy the fleet version. There's a fleet one from the Spire that you can pick up, which I'll talk about a little bit. But it is a good warp core to have. There's also a singularity core, very similar. It will give you a 2-piece set with the Tilly's shield, which is the tier 5 for the reputation. And with those two, it gives you a massive plus hull regeneration. And if you're having problems blowing up, definitely recommend running the 2-piece. It will save your butt, you know, a lot. Okay, Gamma. There's stuff in Gamma? So much. There's so much gear, so many places.
Well, this is largely why phaser is considered the meta. There's just so many different ways to boost phaser damage, and there's so much equipment in the game that is specifically designed to boost phaser damage. The only other energy type that really competes these days is Disruptor, and we'll get to that next week. But yeah, the stuff in Gamma, and then we'll go Zen Store, Lobby Store, and so on and so forth.
So in Gamma, you have a console here. You have to only get to tier 2 for Gamma to get this console, and it's the Ordnance Accelerator. As you can see, it boosts your mine recharge speed, projectile weapon damage, phaser directed energy weapon damage, and polaron directed energy weapon damage. So definitely probably worth it for even polaron builds. It's a kind of well-rounded console for damage. After that, you need to get to tier 4 to get the phaser turret. Though the phaser turret would be more for if you're going for a cannon build. Because essentially, if you're doing cannons, you use turrets on your aft. If you're doing beams, you use omnidirectional beam arrays. Essentially, basically, yeah. Turrets are for cannons, and beam arrays are for beam setups. You don't want to mix the two. But Gamma has the turrets that you can pick up and use.
I didn't put it down on our notes, and I should have. The 2-piece set bonus for the Gamma, both the Ordnance Accelerator and either the Omni or the turret, is a flat boost to phaser damage. Actually, it does chronoton, phaser, polaron, and a flight turn rate. And each one is a 10% increase. So just by using the console and one of those inhibiting weapons, you'll grant a total of 36% phaser damage. I mean, that's a pretty big boost for 2 items.
Yeah. And there are, there is the turrets and omnidirectional here for that set, so it's not like you have to use a cannon build to use that console. You just have to make sure you select whether you want the phaser turret or the omnidirectional beam. And that is Gamma. I guess next is the crafting.
Yep, so for crafting, we only put 2 items down. This is the second way you can get those phaser relays. Again, if you're in a fleet that's working on unlocking the fleet consoles, or if you're not in a fleet, this is another way to boost your phaser damage. So you can craft, it's a tactical console phaser relay. If you're going to craft it, the suggested method is to craft it at the lowest tier you can get, which is usually tier 2, and then use Phoenix upgrade tokens to increase it, because you have the higher chance of boosting its rarity that way. Where if you run the mission, it automatically comes in the purple quality or the rare, very rare. And then the other thing we have is an omnidirectional phaser beam array. This is a crafted item. You can have 2 Omni beams, so you can have one that is part of a set and then one that is not part of a set. So the crafted one is not part of a set, but this is exchangeable with several of them out of block boxes that you can buy. So if you don't want to craft one, you can go to the exchange. They do tend to be fairly pricey, so it's sometimes easier just to craft your own. But if you want something specific, you're trying to do a theme build, there are others you can get. Just remember, you can only have one set Omni and one not set Omni together.
If you never delved into the crafting, and I can understand some people don't care about it, I'm sure if you are in a fleet, you can find a fleet member that has done all the stuff and things for crafting to help you out. I have so many resources for crafting. If anyone in the fleet were to need something, I would be more, I will send them for tactical phaser relays if that's what they want, or an omnidirectional beam or whatever. They just got to let me know what they want, and and I'm sure in other fleets people are very much the same way and willing to help out, because right now, like R&D, the resources flow very well.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very true. And while I'm not quite as big into crafting as Grebog there, I would help people as well. And I will even extend that to viewers who are not in our fleet, should we have any. Again, our contact information, you can find that at fleetactionreport.com. There are multiple ways to hit us up, including in-game. So if you need help with something, just ask.
Oh, hey, maybe I should switch to my other captain to show the quad cannons.
I've actually got them on mine. They're right here. I actually use those on my phaser build.
Okay.
So in the Zen store, there are many ships, and the ships have consoles, and some of them have equipment. The first item we want to highlight here is the phaser quad cannons. These come from the Tier 4 Sao Paulo Tactical Escort refit. So if you've ever bought that ship when it was for Zen, it's a free unlock for any character on your account. So just go in there and claim that. You can pull the quad cannons off and then ditch the ship if you so choose. The quad cannons are upgradable. As you can see on my screen, I have them upgraded to Epic Quality Mark 15. So you can see the weapon on there. It's 1800 DPS, and all the rest of the stats are displayed on the screen for you. These are roughly equivalent to a heavy cannon or heavy dual cannon as far as damage goes. So there's other options out there. This is a set piece, so if you have the cloaking device and the quantum warhead, you can use them together to give you basically a Federation battle cloak. But even by itself, because clearly I'm not using the set, so even by itself, it is a handy weapon to use, and the visual on it is pretty cool. It's my favorite of the cannons just for the visual. But again, you get that off a Tier 4 ship. That's you can't buy it in the Zen store anymore, but if you go to any shipyard, you can buy it for dilithium now. I think it's like 90,000 dilithium or some such.
So the Sao Paulo is not a Tier 6 ship? I thought there was a Tier 6 Defiant.
There is, but it doesn't come with the quad cannons. Unless it comes on the Legendary, which I don't know.
It does come on the Legendary, but that's really not saying a whole lot.
So there is, if you have the Legendary Defiant, you can get the cannons that way as well. But if you don't have the Legendary pack, which is not offered in game at the moment, you'll have to spend dilithium to get it off the Sao Paulo. Okay, and the other item in the Zen store that I wanted to mention was the Agony Phaser Torpedo Launcher. I do not have that on my ship. I do have access to it, though. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. It is the only torpedo in the game. It's not on my list here. The only torpedo in the game that actually has phaser damage. And it is the damage is increased by phaser consoles. So all the stuff that we've been talking about that boosts phaser damage also boosts this torpedo. You can get it from the Zen store, which makes it an account unlock, if you buy it with the Mirror Universe bundle. Now, if you don't want to spend the money on that bundle, there is a way to get the torpedo per character, and we'll cover that here in just a minute. You want to do the Lobby store?
Sure, the Lobby store. Lobby store has so many things. If I can, there it is. Oh, that's a Phoenix. So in the Lobby store, I'm not using on this ship all this stuff. I have used it in setups. Some of these do not have phaser damage, but a lot of people love them for they just have a lot of crit severity or crit chance on them. And some of it's like the bio-neural infusion circuits. This is a part of a lot of people's meta builds for their standard, the standard damage builds. Same with the tachyokinetic converter. I might actually nope. I have so many consoles I can't even keep track of what the heck I'm doing anymore. I know it's on one of my other ships, but also you can get in the Lobby store. These are all 200 Lobby each. These are all also universal consoles. Two of them do not say they are universal consoles because before they tacked in universal, they just put console and then the name. they didn't specify engineering, tactical, or science. They just were like, oh, since we didn't put that in there, it's a universal console. Well, I guess people got confused, and so they... Oh yeah, apparently you can also buy the quad cannons with just lithium. Thanks,
You
Corsair.
can?
I believe so. That's what Corsair is saying. I would believe that to be accurate. I don't know if you have to have picked something that unlocks it first. So... But, oh, he just did it with Fed and Klingon recently, so you can buy the quad cannons. The quad cannons have a bigger stipulation on what ships you can use it on. So that is a thing. Anyway, back to the Lobby consoles. There's also the interface quantum distributor. For most of these, like the interface quantum distributor is basically required by most people's standards for the EPG builds, which is an exotic particle build. And then they recommend for the interface quantum distributor, if you're going for the exotic particle build, you're going to want to pick up the Delphic Distortion Torpedo to get the 2-piece bonus set for the extra exotic particle damage. But the Phoenix prize packs.
Yeah, so there's a few things in the Phoenix store. The first one, and I actually have this item, so I'll pull this up real quick, would be the Domino Console. There it is. So the Domino Console just gives a passive 15% phaser damage and plus 20 accuracy rating, but it also has an activated ability, which is a damage plus haste boost. Says it's extended by kills. That's a great little boost. Like if you're going up against a boss or you're getting overwhelmed, you can punch that button and flood your enemies with a torrent of phaser damage. It's a lot of fun. It's such a great boost that I've heard that a lot of people will use this console even on non-phaser builds. You get this off of the Bajoran Denorios class interceptor, which is a Phoenix only ship. You get it with an epic prize token. It is a tier 6 ship, so it could be a fun one to fly. I have not actually flown it. I have it. Obviously, I have the Domino, but I have not flown that ship yet. I need to do that one of these days.
I mean,
and then for
also an event ship, so
it was. I suppose it could come back if they ever run that event again. But my assumption is if they've thrown it in the Phoenix prize pack, then they're probably not going to do it as an event reward again. Although I suppose they could, or they may toss it up in Mudd's Market, like they've done with several other old event ships and lockbox ships. So who knows?
With it being on the Phoenix prize, I doubt they're going to bother with them. Well, I guess they could put the ship there. Yeah.
They could, because it would end up being an account unlock, and they did that with the NX class. So that's always a possibility, but as of yet, they have not done that. Also in the Phoenix prize pack, there is the prolonged engagement set. Now, this is a phaser-specific set. There's a universal console prolonged engagement power dynamo. There's a prolonged engagement photon torpedo, and there's a prolonged engagement phaser beam. It's either a phaser beam or dual cannons, so depending on what type of build you're trying to do there. And then there is also the Agony phaser torpedo as a character unlock, not an account unlock, but as a character unlock, you can get it with a very rare coupon, just like these prolonged engagement. Now, the thing with the prolonged engagement is they have a buff on them. The longer you are in a fight, the greater the damage becomes. So if you're not quite at the point where you're killing everything within a few seconds, this could be a great little set to get you started. Eventually, most people say eventually you'll want to trade this up for either fleet weapons or reputation weapons, something that is a little heavier hitting from the get-go. But if you're not there yet and you have the extra Phoenix prize tokens to spend, it's a great little set for you. I think that's it for the Phoenix. So
I was like, I believe the prolonged engagement set was also part of some event.
It was.
That I do like how they are doing that with old events, consoles and ships and stuff. They put in another way for people to get them. So, fleet, the fleet stuff. I guess I will start there. At the starbase, you can buy the Advanced Fleet Phaser Beam Arrays. They come as a Mark 12, though they start off as the very rare quality. So
they're ultra.
Or ultra rare. Yeah, ultra rare.
Yep.
So they're already just one step down from epic. So they're really nice to have to start off with. If you look at my build right now, I actually use these for many of the slots. I've upgraded them to epic, most of them, but you know, they are definitely beneficial. You can see that I picked the accuracy, critical hit, and then damage times 3. That has been the kind of go-to. I think when you get to pick them, I don't know. I was like, I guess when you pick them up, it's the accuracy and damage times 3 that you pick them up. The critical hit was a proc, and when you go to epic, it also goes accuracy / damage. So you kind of get a little more boost, one more of those. So here you can see what the base beam rate looks like. I haven't upgraded it at all, other than made it a Mark 14. I need to upgrade that further. Silly me.
It should be noted that the advanced fleet phasers come in a variety. They're not just beam arrays. You can get cannons, dual beams. Just about anything you can think of is in that same store.
Yeah.
So if you're not using just the arrays, you can still look at fleet weapons.
And if you, let's say, phaser's not your build, they have them in all the damage flavors too. It's not just phaser. So, I mean,
true enough.
If your fleet has these unlocked, I would say that would be should be your first stop on gearing up your weapons. They are great starting points at the very least. You don't have to spend millions of credits on the exchange to try to get the meta whatever, and they will do just fine.
Yeah, well, the meta isn't what it used to be, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute.
Okay.
So what's at the colony?
You have once you get the colony to renewable energy tier 3, you can buy the Elite Fleet Intervention Proto-Matter Deflector Array Mark 12. I am actually using this here, and it gives so many bonuses to you. Shield capacity, hull capacity, impulse expertise, electroplasma system flow, drain expertise, weapon specialization, shield penetration, crit severity, critical chance. I mean, it's got so many bonuses on this. Highly recommend it. I know it doesn't means you're not going to do a space set pretty much, or get too many bonuses, but with as many pluses as this deflector has, I don't know you need it. So,
it's a handy deflector.
And then I think you already briefly mentioned the vulnerability locator and exploiters from the Spire for the tactical consoles. These are what replace that phaser relay we were mentioning, and you can get these in any weapon variety or any weapon energy type.
They add a straight flat damage boost, and then they also add either a crit chance or crit severity. So it depends. Like the locators, which is what I have, are crit chance. The exploiters are crit severity.
Yeah.
So you can boost either or mix them up to boost both, however you want to do it.
And then we have the lockbox/exchange.
And again, there's only a couple things here. A lot of stuff that comes with the lockbox is not energy specific, but there's a couple. There's a universal console approaching Agony, which is part of the Agony. I think there's an Agony phaser set, right?
It is not part of a set, if that's what you're wanting to know.
Oh, okay. That was my question. Yeah. It's just a flat boost then.
Yeah, it just gives 15% phaser damage and then 1.5% crit chance, but it also gives some extra interesting bonuses. AoE Agony phaser damage creates approaching Agony for... So it does work with the Agony phaser weapons, but you don't have to have it to use it. That 15% phaser damage is pretty big. So
yeah, especially if you're still working on getting other things. So yeah, or in addition to, because it is a universal console, so you can plug it into a science console or engineering console spot or a universal console spot in order to get a further boost. So yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to mention for the lockbox or exchange is the 32nd century phasers. Now, currently, the only way to get this is off of lockbox ships. They say they're going to add them in later. We don't know what that's going to look like, but they say they are going to add it in later. The ones currently in game are not upgradable, and I'm not sure how it pops up. Oh yeah, the DPRM.
no.
Is that what you're? No. All right. I'll let you take it over here again in just a minute. I do believe that these 32nd century phasers have become the new meta. They have a chance to recover the recharge time of bridge officer abilities. So a lot of people are talking about these as being the new meta, or eventually becoming the new meta once they're upgradable, or once there's a version out that's upgradable. So keep an eye out for those. What's the console we missed?
So the console that we missed, I have it probably because it came with the legendary ship, but there was another way it comes out of a lockbox. Well, came out of the R&D packs, which I believe now is part of the the Infinity lockboxes. The console is the weaponized helical torsion. It does 15% phaser damage and 15% crit severity, which is kind of massive.
Yeah, that's a big boost.
And it comes from essentially the Discovery. Though, I mean, technically it is the Mirror Crossfield Science Destroyer, which was in the promotional R&D packs. It is a tier 6 ship, but if you have the legendary bundle, it is also on the Glenn Legendary Temporal Operative Science Vessel. So there is another way to get it. I don't know if we, since I got rid of the cross-faction stuff, for Klingons, you used to be able to buy from the Lobi store for 450 Lobi the cross-faction bundle, Mirror Crossfield Science Destroyer equipment to get the actual console that way. But I'm pretty sure that is gone now that anyone can fly anything.
That's true.
So everyone is stuck with trying to get the ship off of the exchange, or
if they ever bring back
buying the legendary bundle when it comes back. Yeah.
So that should cover the lockbox and exchange. Now there are many other things out there that you can use. There are consoles that just flat boost all damage or all energy damage. So don't think that this is a complete list by any means. Certainly not the must-have list of any kind. But these are a lot of the consoles that straight up boost phaser damage. So if you're trying to do a phaser build, a lot of these will be very helpful for you. The other thing that we wanted to briefly mention was traits. There are many traits in the game, both ground, space, and starship traits, and reputation traits. Very few of these. Actually, I can't think of any off the top of my head that are energy type specific. So pick your build, pick your traits, go with that. There are traits that boost crit chance. So if you're doing a crit build, you'll want to use those. There are traits that are, if you use this ability, it'll boost damage. There's one that does attack pattern beta, for example. So find the traits that work for you. There are all kinds of lists online, or if you would, again, if you want to hit us up directly, I can answer specific questions about traits, or I can tell you about my build. But yeah, there's lots of different things to do for traits, but I can't think of any of them that are phaser specific.
Most of them are more fire mode specific, meaning they do something based off of fire at will or cannon volley, or all that. They have more to do with what fire modes you're using from your tactical captains than they do have. Like I can't think of, like I said, any of the plus this type of damage. It's typically just, oh hey, when you do fire at will, then it does something special. Or if you do high yield torpedo or stuff like that, they're more on special fire modes than they are your damage type.
Now that could change at any point in time, but yeah, the way it sits now, they're not energy specific. And that covers our primary target. And today we knew this was going to take a while, so we didn't actually come up with a secondary target. Our debriefing next week, we're going to do this same type of show, but we're going to cover disruptor equipment and go over that. So that's where the current meta, which are the spiral wave disruptors, we'll be talking about them. And Grebog is going to have to highlight those for you guys. I do not have access to them. Not yet, anyway.
For a low price, you too can have spiral wave disruptors.
I don't know about low.
I'm being a salesman here,
I guess that's all relative, right? Just like with any salesman.
I mean, compared to the legendary bundle for a low price.
That's true. I'll give you that one. All right, guys. Yeah. So here we are. This is episode 45. When we get to episode 52, so 7 weeks out, we're going to need some help. We're wanting to celebrate our 1-year anniversary with a PvP episode. So we need 8 people who are willing to come in and trade fire with us. We did this once before. It was a lot of fun. We did not have a full 10 people, but it was still a lot of fun. We split into 2 groups and queued us up for some space PvP and ground PvP and just went at it for most of an hour. So if you are interested in helping us with this or joining us for this, then hit us up. Contact information is at fleetactionreport.com. We'll take anybody and everybody. Level only matters for certain maps, so even if you are not max level, that's fine. We'll bring you in. We can set the level of the PvP match, so everybody will end up being level matched. So it works pretty well. Now, if you're not in a tier 6 ship, that might make a little bit of difference just because of your limited console slots or weapon slots. but we could still have a lot of fun with it. We did last time. We had an underleveled guy, and he still managed to do some damage. It was still fun. Of course, he was playing the Klingon, and there was hit and runs going on, and it was a little crazy, but it was fun. So if you want to join us, our contact information is at fleetactionreport.com or fleetactionreport@gmail.com, and we'd be interested in having you join us. Anything you want to add before we sign off, Grebog?
Come blow us up. See how bad I truly suck at PvP.
Hey, the last time we tested it, we went every other. So if you suck, so do I.
So are we going to? How deep into our fleet are we going to go? Are we going to try to get someone to come back to kill us all again and again?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've changed our build since then. We've improved ourselves since then, and that certain individual has not been in game. So
well, if she comes back, I still think she'll blow us out of the water. I think if Dent shows up, he'll blow us out. Whatever.
I'll give you that. Dent is a scary dude.
Who knows? Corsair might be in the same boat of being able to nuke us like we're nothing.
That could be. I'm planning on inviting Max as well. I know he plays the game, but I'm not sure like how he stacks up. But it could be fun having one of the like founders of AIE come in with us.
Yeah.
Good old Max. Come on in, Max.
He's a good sport too, so I'm sure he'd be willing to come in if he has time. He's a busy man, so.
Aren't we all?
Well, I was like, AIE has so many events and stuff going on that there may be something going on currently, like in another game.
Oh, speaking of, and if you are watching this and you are not yet a part of AIE, I highly recommend you checking us out. AIE is Google searchable. We have a website. We have a Discord server. We run various events in various games. We even have a D&D group and a board game group now. So even if you're not into multiple video games, there's still ways that you can join in and have fun. We even ran our own convention this last year. It was virtual, but it was a lot of fun. So we're very, very active in multiple ways. So if you're curious about AIE or anything like that, please come join us.
So many games.
And of course, the fleet is also part of AIE. So if you join the fleet, you gain access to everything else.
Well, I mean, we're an open community.
That is true.
The key is don't be a dick.
Yeah, one rule: don't be a dick, and try not to talk about religion or politics, because that never ends.
It's always safest to leave that kind of stuff outside of. Yeah, no one's ever gonna walk away happy if you bring those topics up.
Yeah, it's just never a good thing. All right, guys. Well, as always, I will leave you with the words of the immortal John Delancey as Q. See you out there.
Live long and prosper.